What do you do when the people you trusted most turn your sanctuary into a battleground? I used to think family was a haven, a place where love stitched up life's wounds. But after my world crumbled, I learned that even family can draw blood. My name is Clara, and this is the story of how I clawed my way back from betrayal. It started with a loss that hollowed me out. My husband, Tom, and I had been trying for a baby for years. When we finally saw those two pink lines, it felt like the universe had finally answered. We painted the nursery, picked out names: Evelyn for a girl, Lucas for a boy. But at 16 weeks, the heartbeat stopped. The doctor's words were clinical, detached. "I'm sorry, there's no fetal heartbeat." I didn't cry then. I just sat there, staring at the ultrasound screen, as if staring could bring her back. Tom held my hand, but his silence was louder than any words. We returned to our small, cozy house in the suburbs, a place we'd poured our savings into. It was supposed to be our forever home, where we'd raise our family. But grief has a way of cracking foundations. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't stop seeing the empty crib in my mind. Tom threw himself into work, leaving me to drown in the quiet. That's when my in-laws, Margaret and Paul, swooped in. At first, they seemed like a lifeline. Margaret brought casseroles, and Paul fixed the leaky faucet I'd been nagging Tom about. "You need us now, Clara," Margaret said, her voice syrupy with concern. "Let us help." I was too broken to argue, so I let them stay. Days turned into weeks, and their help became something else. They rearranged furniture, claiming it was better this way. Margaret started cooking every meal, dismissing my attempts with a wave. "You're not up to it, dear." Paul took over the garage, turning it into his workshop without asking. Our house stopped feeling like ours. Then came the bombshell. One evening, over Margaret's overcooked roast, she said, "Clara, you and Tom should move in with us. This house is too big for just the two of you now." I froze, fork halfway to my mouth. Tom stared at his plate, silent. Paul chimed in. "We could sell this place, split the profits. It's only practical." Practical? This was our home, our dream. They didn't see the nursery's half-painted walls or the garden I'd tended for years. They saw square footage and dollar signs. I tried talking to Tom that night, but he just mumbled, "They're trying to help, Clara. Let it go, let it go." They were erasing me from my own life. The next morning, I found Margaret sorting through my closet, tossing out clothes she deemed unflattering. That was the moment something snapped. Grief had made me small, but I wasn't invisible. Not yet. I called my old college friend, Sarah, a lawyer with a reputation for being relentless. "Clara," she said, her voice steady, "you don't have to let them do this. Let's fight back." She dug into property laws, cohabitation agreements, anything that could protect us. Meanwhile, Margaret and Paul grew bolder. They invited realtors to assess the house, claiming Tom had agreed. He hadn't. I checked. The tension built like a storm. Margaret's snide comments about my fragile state stung, but I held my tongue, waiting. Sarah worked fast, drafting documents to assert my rights as co-owner. Tom, caught in the middle, started to see the invasion for what it was. "I didn't realize," he admitted one night, tears in his eyes. "I should have protected you. We were broken, but we were still a team." The final straw came when Margaret announced they'd found a buyer. "It's for the best," she said, patting my hand like I was a child. I didn't respond. Instead, I called Sarah. The next morning, she arrived at our doorstep, briefcase in hand, her presence like a thunderclap. Margaret's smile faltered as Sarah handed her a cease and desist letter. "You've overstayed your welcome," Sarah said, her voice calm but razor-sharp. "This is Clara and Tom's home. You have no legal claim." Paul blustered, but Sarah didn't flinch. She laid out the facts. The deed was in our names, and their actions bordered on trespassing. They had 1 week to leave, or we'd escalate to court. Margaret's face turned ashen. "We were helping," she cried. "Helping?" They'd preyed on my grief, turned my home into their empire. They left 3 days later, their belongings packed in a hurry. The house felt empty again, but this time, it was ours. Tom and I sat in the nursery that night, holding each other. The pain of our loss hadn't faded, but we'd reclaimed something vital: our strength, our partnership. Grief can break you, but it can also forge you. I learned that family isn't just blood, it's the people who fight for you, who see you when you're invisible. Sarah gave me back my voice, and Tom gave me back his hand. Our house is more than walls. It's a testament to what we survived. And as for Margaret and Paul, they didn't expect my lawyer at the door. But I did.